Hello guys, I'm just going live. I don't even know whether we have come on live yet. So I'm just going to wait to collect some feedback. I'm just going to check, poke around, look at the live chat. If something is wrong, I'm hoping one of you guys will tell me what is going on. I'm also going to set this on full screen so that I can see what's happening here. Yeah, I'm just waiting for some feedback from you guys saying things are fine. So if everything is fine, then we're good to go. Start the session. Give me a second. I'm just trying to locate whether we can do this on a full screen basis. Lovely. Sorry for fiddling there. I'm just going to set this up so that I can see if there are some comments. A second. Sorry about this. Sorry for fiddling. Yep, all good. Wonderful. There's a comment I wanted to see. Lovely, guys. All good. So I'm going to talk about what should an ideal CAT aspirant do. And so there is no such thing as an ideal CAT aspirant. So we're all less than perfect. So with that in mind, I'm just going to have some fun to say, give some frameworks about what should you keep in mind. If you're thinking, I'm going to take this CAT gig seriously, what should you keep in mind? So at any point of time, you have some questions, queries, put it in the chat. We will keep that in mind. We will take that up ASAP. Now let me start. I have a kind of prepared presentation for about 20 minutes. I'll run that, then we'll jump to questions and take that for about 20 minutes. Lovely. What should an ideal CAT prepare intensely, which is very important. Very often I find that students take this up, then they lose steam too rapidly. You're intending to do this, you want a career switch, you want to go from level A to level B, you want a step jump. This is an aspirational course, the entire MBA idea. So you want to not be in a certain pay bracket, but in a much higher pay bracket. Not by putting in more hours, but by bringing something new to the table. And you figured out that MBA is a route for you to go from one level to another level. Right? So there's no point then kidding around and preparing with a bunch of WhatsApp groups and open, Facebook groups open, and background Hotstar running, perennially checking one update or the other, or scrolling on Instagram all the time. It doesn't work. You don't need to prepare for massive chunks of time, but the chunks of time that you do prepare for, you must focus completely. That is very crucial. It's not an exam for which you need to prepare for too long. It's definitely an exam that you need to prepare intensely for. It's not an exam for which you need 40 hours per week. Probably need 10 to 12 hours, 15 hours per week tops. But those 10 to 12 hours or 15 hours, that should be with full intensity. Whatever you're doing, be switched on about that thing. Don't do a parallel processing thing. That doesn't work. Have fun. Don't just prepare. It's very important, right? Because it's a long journey. You're going to start, go on till November. So any which way you're looking at a commitment of about 400 hours. You have to drag yourself out of bed every time to take one test or learn one topic or read one passage. Then you're dead in the water. The best guys who do well in this exam, who crack this, they usually will tell you, hey, I really enjoyed my preparation. It is not unusual. I like what I'm doing. Therefore, it didn't seem like a big strain. So very frequently, you find that the guys who enjoy this exam, they end up cracking, or the guys who crack this exam end up having enjoyed it. I don't know which way the causality is, but any which way might as well enjoy this preparation. Keep that in mind. So you have to figure out a way where doing a few questions, learning a couple of topics, doing one or two puzzles, reading one interesting passage per day, thought of by your mind mentally as a fun thing to do and not just a preparation thing. Learn from pandas. I'm a big bore about this. If you're learning English, learn English. If you're learning to read a passage and you're figuring out something, read that thoroughly. Figure out what the author conveys. Read the background material. Read the passage just before it, just after it. Read from the original source. And then wrap your head around that overall 2000 word piece and not the 500 word extract. If you're learning geometry, learn the proof for why sum of two sides is greater than the third side. These are beautiful, delightful things. We often think that the process of getting there to one final endpoint formula is not important. It is pivotal. I've seen several CAT questions where the solution becomes obvious because you've seen proof of an idea before. But it's incredibly tough if you keep on trying to plug in a formula. They ask us questions which where it straddles mixtures and averages and ratios and linear equation put together. And so in this, you can't plug in any formula anyway. But if you have an intuitive way of thinking about it differently, then you're better off. And that comes from learning from fundamentals. So shortcuts are good. I'm not going to decry shortcuts and say don't learn anything. What I mean by shortcuts is learn from fundamentals, do so much practice that your mind automatically draws the best method of connecting some things. And so if for the constant distance travel, the ratio of speeds of two people, 2:3, then ratio of times should be 3:2. This is not rocket science, this is not a shortcut. Distance is the same, speed is inversely proportional to time. Speed into time is distance. If this increases, that decreases. This ratio should be opposite of that ratio. You do 5-6 questions, your mind automatically thinks in terms of ratios and navigates to time when you're given speed. That is useful, that is compelling. I'll not insult it by calling it a shortcut. Not a shortcut. If you have done 10 questions and your mind has drawn and arrived at that connection, that will stay with you for a lifetime. You should do practice to arrive at those pieces and not just hard boot a ton of shortcuts and call it preparation. Read a lot. If there is one thing that is going to impact your score, maximum, it is going to be this one thing, reading. 1/3 of the exam is directly taken care of, VRC. And I'm not kidding when I say this. Several puzzles in logical reasoning, I know students struggle to make sense of what is being said, what is being outlined. There is a practice gap. There's also a comfort level gap with English. What do they mean when they say only at max 3 people can be in that room at any point of time? Whereas more than 3 can be there if you take within a day. It's all befuddling if you have not read a lot. It helps across sections, but it's the elephant in the room for the VARC section. You need nothing else but a good reading habit and 10 marks to crack VARC. Build that reading habit brick by brick if you don't already have it. If you have it, now is the time to increase the variety and read tons of stuff. If you're not on Bharat's reading list, you should get on it today. You put a pause on this video, Google Bharat's reading list, get on board, read a ton of articles every day, and very crucial. Intensity is important, so is fun. Learning from pandas is very important. Reading a lot and enjoying it is also crucial. Lovely. We go further. We have a fabulous offer running about next 3 days on all our courses, 5,000 off. It's a wonderful course, and I'm a big bore about this as well. We're trying out the online.2im.com course. Don't listen to what I've got to say. Don't listen to what everybody else has got to say. Go there, sign up as a trial user. You won't believe it. We have tried this, we have timed this. It takes about less than a minute to click, sign up, verify your email, click in the OTP, go to the course, click on the relevant thing and watch a video. You can take a trial class of 2 topics in quant, one in LRDI, one in verbal, and lots of other classes, other chunks. Very easily, in about 50 to 60 seconds, you can see the entire course in its home setting. You can sit back and say in about 6 minutes, you'll have absolute clarity of what this is about. And you will realize that we are giving you a sample of what the course can contain in its natural setting. Nothing is doctored. You don't need to listen to me saying this. You go sign up. The best way to evaluate a course is to click and sign up and try it in its natural setting. We're giving you that on a platter. Please do go and try that. It's a fabulous offer running for the next 3 days. You must avail of it if you're serious about CAT. What is this? What else should you? What is the other thing to keep in mind if you want to be an ideal CAT aspirant? Starting from scratch. Right? So the time spent for preparing for quant, LRDI, and VARC like this. Your preparation time is going to be dominated by quant. Your mock time is equally split. Your revision time and preparation time is going to be heavily linked to quant. Why? Because it's just more stuff to study, more syllabus, more portions, more topics, more variety of questions, right? And the score improvement in this can be dramatic. If you have a natural reading habit, then you're going to get better and better through the year with practice. Right? But your score improvement could be 50% in VRC, could be 300% in quant. And so there's just more stuff to study. So this is going to dominate your preparation. But when you have a chart like this, you have to keep in mind what I've not done in this chart is a reading thing. If I include reading, then reading will be, if I had to accommodate reading, I'll put reading as another circle. every day, no matter what you do or not do, you must read for an hour. Keeping that aside, this is going to be by and large your time split. What is going to dominate your learning and practice part, because the practice part is going to have a spillover for LRDI. About at least a third of the puzzles, or maybe even half of them, are linked to the way you manipulate mathematics, manipulate quants, manipulate numbers. Therefore, for this also, this helps. PRC, you read, you're covered. What are these two chunks? Motivational guff, stuff about WhatsApp, FB, YouTube, Quora, etc. And the motivational video is a hit that you get. Motivational speech is a hit you get. Something nice that you read, it picks you up. That is good. But for the love of God, you can't spend 45 minutes every day needing to be motivated. Doesn't work. And so your threshold for motivation cannot be too low. You can't say, okay, I've got up from today. Today I'm going to prepare for 45 minutes. Let me just give myself up by watching 15 minutes of some video. Doesn't work. And so the guys who really do inspired stuff, they need motivation too. They need inspiration too. But when they get that inspiration, they go and bank it. The guy watches 10 minutes worth of fabulous video and then he says, oh my God, I'm feeling so good about myself. I'm going to defer sleep. I'm going to prepare for 2 hours and then start early and then do great things with my life. Not let it fizzle out and then need another motivational video and a motivational trinket to start all over again. And so keep that in mind. Motivational things all of us need. Very often I find that too many people spend too much time on CAT preparation plan, CAT preparation strategy, CAT preparation gyan, how to keep motivated, how to stay through the journey, how somebody's life was dramatically changed by 3 great habits, 2 brilliant ideas, 7 must-do things, 3 things that shape my life. These are all packaged content pieces. Somebody has not started off their life with 3 pieces. They've done something, they've reached a point which can be justified as a success. They look back and say, okay, I need to give something, let me give these 3. This is retrospective thinking and culling out the 3 things that mattered in their life. If you say, okay, I'm going to make a success of my life, then I'll look back and give 2 points for everybody else. That's great. But otherwise, don't spend too much time on that. This at least is fine. It gets you out of bed to prepare. This is just a waste. And if you are in some relevant CAT preparation group, which pops out relevant stuff, not too much of it in the right quantity, ignore it when you can, switch it on when you can't, when you need to, so that you stay in the news, you know what's happening, then it's fine. Especially WhatsApp, FB, YouTube, creep up on you. And this happens to me very frequently. And there are tons of memes on it. You're sitting there thinking, I'm going to do something, I'm just getting bored, let me get into the mood. I'll open YouTube, watch one video, 45 minutes later, you're watching 𝑭𝒂𝒃 bowling in 2001. And so that can happen, it creeps up on you. And so if you're not preparing for some intense exam that you need to stay focused for, that's all right, that is life. We all have our digressions. But you need to put that in a box if you're serious about your preparation. You need to channel and carve out a 20-minute window, half an hour window for doing that. But otherwise, make sure that it does not consume your life, especially these 3 fellows, WhatsApp, FB and YouTube. They can creep up on you and become utterly dominant and you don't even know what's happening. They just take more and more time out of you on a day-to-day basis, every day. I know this because it has happened to me. I know this because it is happening to me. Recently, I've added Hotstar to this evil mixture. So it's not a triumvirate, but it's like a quadrangle. Working on it, so should you. Remember that I'm standing here and giving you these inputs, not because I've cracked this, but because I've been training students for CAT. So I know what the CAT preparation gig is. As a human individual, I'm as fallible or worse than most of you. So please keep that in mind. So I'm also struggling to make sure that this put in a box. So if you have some great ideas, share them in comments. But between us, let all of us make sure that this is there for providing some flavor, but not become too dominant. Good habits to build. This is very crucial. And very crucial. Have a clear prep timeline. And so there's a fabulous comment on planning. It was like, I'm not sure of the name. I think it's Napoleon or Eisenhower. I don't know. When you're going for battle, plans don't help, but planning does. And so having a beautiful idea about what you're going to do is very useful. Setting yourself nice plans, timelines, setting a goal is very useful. It's not like every single plan will get executed to the T every single day. That doesn't happen. There are too many variables in all our lives. And I put a fabulous plan for doing end things. You lose some time to a silly call, get stuck in a traffic jam, and finally you come home and then the Wi-Fi crashes. Then something goes wrong, that day is a mess. And we need to learn to pick ourselves up again and then relaunch ourselves. The overall framework and the idea of planning keeps us in the straight and narrow, keeps us motivated. The guilt trips us in the right time. That helps. You've got to have a clear prep timeline. You've got to say, okay, I'm going to finish these topics now, revise them later, finish the remaining topic then start taking mocks, read every day, any which way, and then build from there. That is very crucial. So have a clear prep timeline. That is important. This is very crucial. Having tangible achievables every day is very crucial. So, sometimes I see my days and weeks drifting. I narrow down my variables. There are too many things happening. To me, a good day is a day where I shoot for 90 minutes. I'm teaching something for 90 minutes. Why? Because I'm in that business. That's very crucial for my job. Two, I like teaching. If I'm teaching for 90 minutes, I'm actually having fun. It so happens that I'm checking mail and I get into a call and I keep deferring it. I feel like I need a 40-minute chunk, but there are only 60 minutes to lunch. Let me do it after lunch. I do all that. And then the day starts drifting. Then I say, look, no matter what happens, I shoot for 90 minutes. So there is one clear, tangible, achievable on a day-to-day basis. So if you tell yourself, okay, no matter what happens, I'm solving one LR puzzle and reading for 30 minutes and I'm not compromising on this, then you have one clear, tangible, achievable through the day. Hit that. The other thing that this does, or where this is important, is to have a nice routine about it. The routine should be anchored around, there's a famous idea of my colleague and boss. He says, look, don't say I'll start at 9, say I'll start at 8:42, say I'll start at 7:45. There is the round number is good, but it tends to slip. But if you're saying, look, every day at 8:45 I'll start preparing, every day at 7:43 I'll start preparing. There's an alarm that goes, I stop and then I start. So there's a discipline to the idea of that time, crucial. Our mind slips into bad habits. We'll have to jerk it back in and then channel it, very crucial. Several people love this idea of doing the most important thing right up front at the beginning of their day. Something that I love. My previous avatar, my work day used to start at 7 a.m. I had to be in office by 6:45. I was usually done with most of my stuff by 10 a.m. So I'm at my best right after I wake up. I love that, which is why even if I take the first session, I'm thrilled. If I take the last session, I'm a mess. Waiting for the day to draw, finishing other things, and then going to the most important thing. Those things I don't like. When I'm at my best, I want to hit that. So starting your day and saying, look, I'm going to get this 1 hour of prep done, and then everything else will squeeze into the remaining time. That works magically. But then there are some people who are night owls, who are at their best when the day is done with. If you are like that, then switch it. Right? For me, starting early, working through when I'm at my best, at that point, very crucial. That works for me. There's going to be a bias towards quant prep time. This much is clear. We've already seen that in a pie chart. But that is going to be there. Accept it and keep that in mind when you're drafting your prep plan. Non-cat things to do in life. This is very important. Very important. This is one aspect of preparing is getting the stuff done. Another aspect of preparing is keeping your temperament sound. You can't afford to get carried away by the stress of it all. You can't continuously keep evaluating your chances and thinking about where can it go. I'm investing so much time. I'm mentally, emotionally vested in this. I've already taken this exam once. That can get to you. We had a chat on Achievers Talk series, which was very nice. I asked a couple of guys who went to MDI and I'm Bangalore what they did in the last month. One guy said, look, I listened to music. That was a getaway. Another guy said, in my last month, I played basketball practically every day. So if you're playing intense sport for 1 hour, you switched off from pretty much everything else for that 1 hour. It's a delightfully focusing exercise. I'm going to do just that one thing. So have another thing to do. Music, sport, running, jogging, cycling. Something where maybe something physical is involved or something fiercely mental is involved. But switch off from this and switch on to that. Very crucial. Keeps you sane and very important. Things not to do, live, eat, breathe, cat. This is the opposite. I've seen several people who are consumed by this idea and invest everything into this and put all their eggs into that beautiful basket. And then every variable becomes important. You get 97 in a mock, you're very happy. And then you get 98.2, you're jumping. And then 98.6 after that, you're like, look, 3 more mocks and I'm ready. Bring on Ahmedabad and Bangalore. And then there's a 91, and then there's an 89. And then it feels like the whole world is crashing around you. Just sitting inside your scores is some randomness. And nobody knows what that randomness is, how it works, where that variable is. You might not be at your best. Several other people might have got something right. There's something wrong with the software. 100 other variables are there creating randomness in our lives all the time. But if you're eating, living, and breathing cat, then you start interpreting everything. And that's a nightmare. The stress level shoots up. Quitting your job for cat prep is a recipe for this. So don't do that. We've covered this ground several times. Unless there is a compelling reason for you to quit your job, don't. And cat preparation is not a compelling reason. One, job gives you money, job gives you an identity, job gives you something very good to do. Job de-emphasizes the result of this cat exam. It makes sure that you have another routine apart from cat preparation, all of which are crucial, not just for life, but for cat preparation. Keep that in mind. Don't worry about selection criteria all the time. And so there's just too much of fretting about variables that you can't control. You've got to break your life into stuff that I can control, stuff that I can't. There's stuff that you cannot control, variables that are not in your hands. Chuck them. Whether the IIM Calcutta or IIM Kozhikode or IIM Vizag gives extra points for people who did BSc Agriculture while also wearing a blue dress, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, it does not worry, it does not change your selection criteria. It does. It does not matter for your preparation because you can stand on top of the tallest building you can have and scream ahead for 12 hours a day for 6 months. It will change jot to the system. Whereas taking 1/10 of the time you spend whining on DILR might make sure that you get 4 more marks, that you are not affected by this weird selection criteria that you have a grouse against. The powers that be have designed this criteria. Several of those criteria are beautiful. They're well designed. The bargaining power sits with them. They are having a shot at selecting. The better the college, the choicier their pick is. I am Bangalore basically saying, look, I'm going to look at the top 1,000 candidates and I'm going to select 200 of them for my general category seats. I'm going to select 300 of them because I'm probably going to lose 100 to Ahmedabad and Calcutta. But outside of this, I have nothing stopping me. I don't need to look at the 1,500th candidate even if they're great. They can be as picky as they need to be. Out of 2 lakh people writing this exam, they don't need to worry about anyone outside the top 700 or 800, at best 1,000. So they're saying, I want them to be in the top 1,000 and I want them to have done this course and I want them to have done well academically and be a swimming champion. They're able to tack on all this because they have the bargaining power. You know why? Because they're good and they know it. You know why you want to go there? Because they have the bargaining power. So a lot of these criteria discussion effectively because there are so few seats for such a giant country. So few seats in that college because that college is good, built a reputation and they know their stuff. So you can go and have giant academic discussion for hours together. One, very often you don't know several of the variables that they know. So you have not a clear idea about why they have selected this criteria. There's lots of nonsense on the wrong ends of the internet which keep saying they don't know what they're doing. These B schools have been running for 50 years or probably more than that. They've been run very well by wonderful professors who also have their hands tied because of several governmental policies. And they have decided a set of criteria for which they have back tested their data. They collect the data based on CAT scores, run correlation for CGPAs, run correlation for pay packets, run correlation for success for students after 10 years. So a lot of their selection criteria, especially for the older IIMs, data based. And so we are all armchair and saying, look, what a silly criteria to have. They know what they're doing. 1. 2, it matters a chart. It matters not, doesn't matter at all in every sense of the word for your chances. Whining about this just takes down energy from you. So don't even engage in that. If somebody comes and says, dude, you're being discriminated against, the world is out to get you, like, look, thanks dude, thanks for the information, but I knew that anyway. If you don't mind, the door is that way, and then start preparing. This is part of this. I've got this, I've got that, I've got this. What are my chances? What are your chances? Your chances are good on a Sunday. That's it. You can't find a great answer for this. And you can't. There is no such thing. Not me, not the collective intelligence of the 20 best experts in the CAT preparation world. No power on heaven or earth can give you a concrete answer for this. These are random variables, several of them. More importantly, this doesn't change your preparation strategy. And so you are signing up for a journey with uncertain outcomes. Make sure you learn it from first principles. Make sure you prepare with intensity. Make sure you have fun doing it. Don't think of the CAT preparation journey as onerous. Only the CAT exam result is uncertain. Preparation is not uncertain. And so let's not mix variables here. Signing up for preparation, enjoy the preparation. I've had several students who have prepared really well, underperformed in CAT, and come out saying, look, I enjoyed myself, I prepared really well. Now I'm processing things better, and I've gone on to do wonderful things, their technical careers. They're not hanging on to this regret of 1 3-hour thing not falling in their way. They're hanging on to the joy of a 6-hour preparation window making them better. And it's not to be underestimated. And so the exam is uncertain, preparation is not. So don't add on variables that make it look like the odds are stacked against you, or that the system is out to get you, or that there's so much uncertainty. Uncertainty is in everybody's life. You think your life is uncertain? Speak to the watchman in your building. He can lose his job because there's one cranky customer in house 4A in one building. That's it. Somebody complains against him, everybody takes the path of least resistance, he's out. And their jobs are really uncertain. Nothing. And so don't overemphasize uncertainty and drive yourself crazy. Do what you can control and have some fun doing it. Things will fall in place any which way. Don't keep building your profile. Profile building is an excuse for saying I hate my job. Many people tell me that I need to improve my profile, so I've decided I quit my job. No, you quit your job because you hate your job, because you can't hang in there when things are going bad. You've done one mistake or your boss had a go at you, you think the world is crashing. And so profile building is euphemism for I hate my job. If you've already quit, try to find a job. If you've quit and you're not going to get a job, then build profile by all means. Do something meaningful. But in an Indian context, in an Indian exam, 5 things that go into the pot, and not one of them worries about profile. Where you are working, how much experience you have, is a tangible, measurable, useful, important part of what is called as profile. Whether you have got second prize in a 10-kilometer race when you were 17, practically nobody cares. I'm sorry to be brutal about this, but don't spend time wasting on a beautiful Google certification on digital marketing. I've had Bharat and I went through probably 100, 150 CVs, probably 3 or 4 who don't have it. And I think it's like a mandatory thing. You put name, email address, phone number, and Google certification. Like that. I'm not saying that is useless. I'm just saying that is not something that you can call profile. Yeah? Which coaching class to go for? I'm probably not the most objective guy to be speaking about it. I'm going to have one look at the questions to see if there's something that pops up. There are a few questions. I'm going to go after that. Which is the best coaching class to do? It's of course, I run 2IIM. I'm branded 2IIM all over the place. That's what I'm going to say. I'll tell you the reasons why. Right? So we hand over the course on a platter. The UI is freakishly good. There are 3 parts: the learning part, the consolidating, and then the assessment part. The learning part, we break it into chunk after chunk after chunk. We do detailed videos and make it heavily modular. There is one idea being discussed in each video. Each video runs from 5 to 8 minutes. 90% of the videos, 95% of the videos are being done by one guy, myself. I'm not saying this is fantastic because of that, but I'm just saying you can sample everything in one shot and look at it and say, hey, this could work for me. And then jump in and take the whole experience. Or you can say, hey, maybe this is not exactly what suits my need. You can sample everything. We care passionately about breaking an idea down and constructing it on an LMS. So you go through the course, you'll understand exactly what I'm trying to say. The pedagogy is refined, no doubt about it. We spend a lot of time to breaking it down. It's heavily modularized. So what can take you 5 hours of study, we'll hand it to you on a platter that you can complete in 2 hours, 10 minutes. And because it's all in a nice sequence, you consolidate idea by idea, you practice that, you take a few tests, you're good to go, you're ready. And then we give you tons of practice for CAT level questions to up your game to compete. One is to learn, the second part is compete. You're not, I know I keep saying have fun, but you're ready, getting geared for a competition. You're getting geared for a competitive exam. You need to benchmark as well. You need to get quicker. You need to get more accurate. You need to not get tired. You need to be intense. So we amp up the learning part by doing 1 round of intense practice part. So all of these there, and thanks to, I won't say thanks to, but in the last year, we've also added tons of live classes. Closer to the exam, we run 5 live classes per week. So part of the course, you'll probably see everything on a platter on the asynchronous course, and be able to listen to every single class being taught, every single topic being covered at least twice as part of the live part program, where you can ask doubts, have them clarified. All of our live classes are video live classes like this, not questions posted and answers texted. We're not doing a text format. Hey, this is 2021. And all of these are live and interactive. And it's not a recorded series being showcased and shown to students. So it is actually a compelling package. And so, and even though I'm the one who's saying it, we know what we are doing. And so please do check out the reviews. They're wonderful students who've taken time out and said what worked for them. So please do check those out. Definitely take 20 minutes. You've sat here through this session. You're going to listen to 40 minutes and have a chat with us. You should definitely say, hey, I'm going to spend 15 minutes checking out this course. It will be worth its weight in gold. Definitely do that. Lovely. Now I'm going to jump. Any questions you have, now would be a good time. I want to look at the thing. This is from Rajesh. What can be an optimal schedule for a first-time aspirant aiming for CAT 2021? You're going to start prep in a couple of days. Start today. Ideal schedule, have a bias towards quant in the beginning. Have quant for about a month and a half. Then shift to LRDI. From day one, start reading. Read for an hour every day. Start your first mock 2 months from when you start preparing. You will not be the finished article, but doesn't matter. Take one mock per month in that initial phase so that you know what this overall picture is. Build about 40% of quant basics. Start from arithmetic, percentages, profit and loss ratios, mixtures, speed, time, pipes and cisterns, simple sequences, exponents and logarithms, simple arithmetic stuff. Put them all together. Work with that for the first month and a half. Then move on to LRDI and maybe geometry and number system. Around about that time, you'll get the confidence to take a mock. Then you know the overall picture. Remember that every time you do 3 topics, you'll have to take time out to revise. Otherwise, you'll do 10 topics, then you'll take a mock, see a couple of questions from the topic number 2, you feel like you haven't learned anything. So keep that in mind, that every time you do 3-4 topics, you'll have to come back and revise. Keep that in mind, don't forget that. If you want a more detailed schedule, it's available on the website, or ping us in comment, we'll send you the link. Both work. See if there is more questions here. So Rengarajan Madhavan, so I've started my quant prep from Jan with arithmetic and now started learning geometry. By what month do you think it's ideal to finish most of quant syllabus? Done well. If you're going at this pace, you've done big chunks already. If you finish arithmetic, you've done 1/3 of the syllabus and probably half the number of questions. Arithmetic is probably the most crucial chunk. You're on to geometry already, you would have finished most of it by kind of mid-May, and then start doing the other things and taking mocks. We'll continue to add stuff. You'll realize when you take section test or topic-wise test or mock exams that some topics you're not as comfortable with as you thought you were, in which case you'll have to revisit them. That will happen throughout. So that's going to happen. Keep that in mind. Okay? But at the rate at which you're going, you're probably good to be covered by end of May. This is Karthikeyan. Hello sir, I'm a second year undergraduate student at MIT Anna University. I read the newspaper regularly but struggle to understand a lot of finance politics terms. Any book suggestions to understand them? Keep reading, you'll get better. And I know it sounds like a very staid advice, nothing dramatic there, but that's compelling. I read this magazine called The Economist for the first time when I was doing my PG. I really liked it, but I didn't understand 60% of it. Keep on powering through. When you start understanding 35-40% of it, as one tipping point. And then you'll start getting to the 65-70%. That's another tipping point. So rapidly go towards 85, and then that's enough. Power through, figure out the word. And when we guys started reading with physical magazines, we didn't have a reference place to go to. You guys are blessed with the internet. You don't understand a phrase, you go there. You don't understand the backstory, you Google it. And so there's a term called G5+1, G6+1. We had seen in our newspapers, we wouldn't have known. All you have to do is put G5+1, you'll know what it is. So the Iran nuclear deal is going to be walked back. I don't know what the Iran nuclear deal is. How will I know what is being walked back? Google Iran nuclear deal, Obama, you'll know what the original thing was. You'll know what Trump removed. You know what Biden is now looking to add back. So the internet is there, use that. wisely. But the biggest thing that's going to come handy is the idea of powering through. Keep reading, keep pushing through, it will fall in place. This is 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒆 𝒂𝒔. I'm really bad in calculation. Even I forgot square roots and Vedic addition. Vedic math is buff. Vedic math is gimmick. You don't need to do any Vedic math. I've taken this exam 10, 12 times. First time I took it was in the year 2000. Don't check Vedic math, and I can do numbers reasonably well. Practice so that you get comfortable with numbers. Serious computation, you will anyway have a calculator to do. LRDI, you are covered. Calculation is not so important that you need to exclusively allot time to know square roots, cubes, cube roots. That was era 2000, 2001. Now you're given a calculator. You need to be comfortable with numbers and computation and framing and solving equations. That will come with tons of math practice. Math practice is not same as computation practice. Math practice includes computation practice. That alone is sufficient. There was an era where 17.2 into 19.7 had to be done quickly. Don't spend time amping up your computation. Not required. Pratik Srivastava, I have 2-year gap after BTech before job. How much will it affect me? Phase 1, it probably won't affect you much. Phase 1, they don't have time to look at 2 lakh applicants. They don't. They take your 10th score, 12th score, UG score, number of years of experience, CAT score, put it into a box. It spits out a number based on the weightage they've given it. Spit out 0.53 for one college, 0.57 for another college, 0.62 for another college. If it crosses the relevant cutoff, you get called for the interview. So for a CAT, it doesn't matter at all. At the interview level, somebody is going to look at your CV and say, oh, you graduated in 2016, but I find that you have only 30 months of experience, whereas you should have had 60. Dude, tell me what you were doing. Then you have a chance to sit there and explain. Make sure you have a compelling CAT score to get the opportunity to sit there and tell your story. That's your first step. You have that, then you can get away. Any impacts on profiles for individual who has left the job? Losing a job was considered taboo 25 years ago. And to have done a crime to lose a job. Now, everybody has had a job loss experience. We are part of the global market. Recessions are part of our life. I joined the workforce in 2001 when I finished my engineering. In one sense, I lost my job before I got it. The company I got recruited for, they deferred my job twice, thrice, and then cancelled it. Luckily enough, by that time I was inside an IM and didn't matter. So that was a starting for Indians to be part of a global economy with its recessionary cycles and layoffs. Since then, we've gone more aggressively than the capitalist team. We are more vulnerable to global cycles. So this global cycle with pandemic, several people might have lost their job. It could be a variable that's completely not in your control. So the professors look very kindly at it. If you lost your job, a reasonably good job in 2020 March because of a pandemic layoff, and then you took your CAT in 2021, and then you ended up in an interview in 2022 February, and then you told them, look, 24 months ago due to the COVID I lost my job, and then I decided to prepare for CAT, and then I took CAT once, then I decided to discover myself, and then I took CAT again, and here I am. Then you are in trouble. Nobody is going to hold a job loss because of a global cycle on you, but a job loss is something that you bounce back from, not something that you say, look, I lost my job, let me do something else. Something else that you should do is to look for and find a job. Even in the present environment or the environment of 6 months ago, there are tons of reasonable companies recruiting. And the small companies were recruiting without seeing candidates on Zoom interviews and saying, look, come on board, let's do something. And so if you have the willingness to work and you put yourself out there, you will get some job. So find that. Susan Joy, I don't have a job or an internship in my college. Internship doesn't count for much. Job after college matters. If you're saying you're planning to prepare for 1.5 years, prepare for 1.5 years if you must. But if you ask me, prepare for 9 months and take this CAT. Don't sign up for 2022 CAT. If you're eligible for this CAT, definitely take it. A 1.5 year preparation cycle is fraught with risk. So much emotional investment that goes into taking a 3-year exam or 2 years if it is for this year. It's not a worthwhile risk to take. If you have somebody else who can merely say, look, discover yourself, you have the money, then it's a different equation. But if it's an aspirational degree for you and you need to make this count, then putting life on hold and spending 1.5 years preparation, I'm not going to say that's a good idea. So find a job. Reading a very, very long article gives frustration because retaining the details is don't retain. I've been reading for 20 years. If you give me an article which is 2,000 words long, I'll read. I've been reading articles and long articles. I was in charge of writing long articles in my previous job. You will not remember everything. You will not remember most of the things. You'll remember some salient features. Some idea will stick in your mind. Some well-written turn of prose will put a smile on your face. Some theme will stay. But you're not going to remember a fact and a name and a detail. You read so that your mind gets better and better at getting the overall picture. And it will get better and better. It's not that easily measurable. It's not a tangible feeling. It's not like you know one funda more than you did the previous day. But you keep reading long articles, digesting them, taking them in, and powering through this bouts of frustration where you're not remembering everything, where it feels like it is Greek and Latin to you, you will get better. That I can guarantee. You say from now I'm going to read one long article every day. You're on Feb 27th or 28th. If you understand 25% of the article, I can tell you by May you'll be understanding 50% of it. By July you'll understand 75% of it. Probably caps out at 80% because that's all you need to get a rock star score in verbal. Keep at it, keep the faith, it will work. You will get better the way your mind draws connections across different things in a passage. It will get better automatically. You don't have to sit and doctor it and create it, but keep at it. I have 83% in Kshitish Pashinam, 83% in class 10, 71% in class 12. Can I have a chance from old IMs? Not an easy chance. Your 10th and 12th do let you down. So you'll have to have an absolute top drawer rock star percentile to have a shot. That's the absolute last question I'm doing in this percentage in this, that percentage in that. There's no great answer for that. So I'm staying away from that. Should I be rock solid with my reason for an MBA before CAT prep not required? Why MBA is one of those tricky questions. It's a ragging question. Nobody has a compelling reason to do an MBA. Not like, why did you do CPR to a patient? That's obvious. You have to. Why do you do an MBA? There is no compelling reason for anybody in the world to go do an MBA. Doing MBA because you have the aspiration. You have the idea that's going to take you to the next level. There's no need to do an MBA. And just like I take my daughter shopping, she comes and tells me, look, I need that chocolate. I'm like, you want that chocolate. You don't need that chocolate. It's a big difference. So there's no compelling need to do an MBA. And so we all find nice ways. We all want to. I'm not saying the entire ambition is humbug. But it's an ambition, it's a desire. It's deep-rooted. It wants me, it is my ticket to prove myself to be 2 notches above where I am headed to right now. I'm in a nice, beautiful engineering job. My boss loves me. I'm doing wonderfully well and I get paid reasonably well for somebody with 18 months experience in my field. But hey, I think I'm capable enough to earn 2x this and be able to do what my boss's boss is doing in 2 years' time. But I'm not being given that chance. But I think an MBA will prove or send a signal to the world that I'm ready to do that. Then I will take it from there and do that. It's that desire that pushes you to do it. It's aspirational. And so, but your idea of why you want to do this will formulate over time. Finish your CAT. And then you look back and say, okay, why did I go to this? What am I going to answer to that question? Why indeed do I want to do an MBA? There is a compelling reason to want to do an MBA. Definitely. There's no need to do an MBA for anybody. An MBA can take you places quite magnificently, brilliantly. I can tell you I've made fun of MBAs for a long time in my life, but the MBA completely, thoroughly, comprehensively shaped me. I was a geeky, happy, fun guy who had no clue of anything apart from the 2 things my coursework demanded of me, several times no clue even in that. Was playing and having fun. I did not have the idea of saying, okay, why is this being positioned like this? Why are they selling this to me? Who are they going to sell that to? What is the revenue model for this company? How does that restaurant make money? I had no idea. My mind was not keen to think like that. I'm not saying it must be, but my mind was not. But then when I did the MBA, like several vistas opened up. I could think about economics. I could think about positioning. I can think about motivation for several people to do their different things. and how I think about the world, how I think about democracy, how I think about different economies, how I think about capitalism, socialism, all of that was shaped in some way or the other in that 2 years and the 4 5 years that followed that. I was sharp. I'm not going to deny that. My brain worked well even in my engineering, but I did not have exposure. And in many ways, the MBA gave me the entire cover, a complete wrapper around how to see the world differently, and that is compelling. That's probably the most important reason why several people want to do an MBA, in order to round themselves off, to know more and understand how the world, the commercial world, works around them. And the second thing, the deep-rooted desire that all of us have to prove ourselves. So you feel like, look, I'm capable of more than what I'm doing in my right job, and this is a ticket and route for me to establish and showcase that. All of us want that. So that is the underlying. But figuring that out and convincing yourself of that and communicating that and having a compelling answer, that is a problem for this time next year, 3 months after your CAT. Worry about it in that 3 months. Don't bother now. Is it a good idea for a June 2021 economic graduate with no work experience to depend only on CAT? Nobody. You can't rely only on CAT. First of all, if you're saying MBA is the route, don't write only CAT. Write CAT, RAT, SNAP, and IFT, NMAT. Write as many exams as possible to give yourself several chances. 1. 2. Have a job or have an alternate career path. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Do you meditate? No, not much. I've been recommended to me by several people, well-meaning, sharp, intelligent people. Maybe I will start, but not right now. How to improve accuracy in RC? It comes with practice. Sometimes the one thing that really helped my accuracy for a long time in my preparation, I used to narrow it down to 2 choices, then punt. So I would bring it down to B or D and then take a chance. I told myself, I've come this far, half the times it will work for me. And then I attended more and more questions. And every time I got it right or wrong, I would say, okay, this time the 50-50 went my way. I never completely went through and say it is not B or D, it is only one of B or D. Now, having come this far, how am I going to eliminate one or select the other? I was getting happy reaching that 50-50 point and then taking a chance. And then when I went to the solution, if I had marked B and they had marked D, I didn't say, okay, what made that guy mark D? On what grounds has he eliminated B? I didn't read through that. So just being focused on the detail and saying, look, this is an objective exam, only one correct answer. I can't say B or D, take a chance. I'm going to look at B and D again and then get it right. That helps. And then whether you get it right or wrong, going through the solution to see their thought process in eliminating the wrong choice, that helps again. Manmik Doshi, if I start now, is it possible to crack CAT with 99.5 percentile? The staple answer is definitely yes. But if I tell that for anyone starting now, they can get 99.5, 99.5 is the top 1,000 people. There are several people in our country who are automatically capable of being in the top 1,000. About 700 or 800 are going to be there. If you're among those, you're lucky. You're lucky as hell. You should definitely get it. If you're not there, then you should realize that with tons of practice, diligent preparation, and a little bit of luck, you can give yourself a beautiful chance of being there. But it's a long journey. It is definitely possible. It's a nice long journey. 99.5 is a special score. That means you're the top 1,000 among 2 lakh people taking this exam. Several tens of thousands high quality IIT, NIT graduates who are taking this. Several from fabulous commerce and economics colleges writing this. Several who are prepared very intensely, beautifully for this. Then among them, you have to be in the top 0.5%. So it will take a lot of effort, a little bit of luck, and wonderful processing power. All of which, except luck, everything else can be built. It is not a genius testing exam. You can do it, but it's not easy. MBA in USA is $150,000. In India, it's 30 lakhs only. Starbucks coffee in the USA costs $6 minimum, the cheapest one. You can get fabulous coffee for $30 in India. Exact same reason. No other reason. And everything is dollar to rupee, it's more expensive there, nothing else. Right? Is 2IM source enough for CAT? Finally, an answer I can confidently say. Yes, definitely, most definitely, more than enough. In fact, right now we are in the process of hard booting an additional extra thing for 2IM. We've done the entire NCERT syllabus for classes 6, 7 and 8. We're loading those. Somebody says, look, I'm not that comfortable with font that I want to start from where a 12-year-old would start, then do 6th, 7th, 8th and then come back to CAT preparation. We'll hand that also to you on a platter. The entire 6th, 7th, 8th syllabus with all complete video solution is going to be loaded on the platform. So it is super comprehensive. You won't need one tiny bit of anything else to learn everything for your CAT. What chance about IIM ABC? I'm going to skip that. When should I start preparing for CAT? I'm a CAT 2022 aspirant. First of all, if you are eligible to take CAT 2021, take it. Then you are a CAT 2021 aspirant. Don't prepare for 1.5 years if you're able to, if you're allowed to take it this year. 7 months is more than enough time. Likewise, 19 months is too much time. Every risk of burnout, either due to the physically turning up week after week for it or mentally getting burnt out, fatigued. And so don't prepare for 2022 if you're eligible to take 2021. If you're starting now for 2021, there's enough time. So 2022, twice as much time, thrice as much time. Please suggest books for math basics, absolute basics. I would say the NCERT books. CAT and CAT relevant basics, then I would say the 2IM material. Go through the freely available content, check that out, and then see where you go. The NCERT books are brilliant. How much profile matters? Very much, very little. Where you are working, how many months of experience you have, that matters. That goes into the pot. Otherwise, this thing called as profile, forget about it. I got 87.5 percentile in CAT 2020. Not getting in a job, and you see what your boss is doing, and his boss is doing, or her boss is doing. You tell yourself that if I work really hard for 10 years, one day I will be able to do that. And if that scares you into going and preparing, it works. If it doesn't scare you, then you're in a good job. And you should say, I should be doing even better. And so we all find our motivations in several places. If you're thinking about CAT, you're saying you are ambitious. That ambition should drive you. You should say, look, I want this better thing. I want to showcase how good I am. Somebody out there is saying that they can think about how to position this product and execute this idea. And I'm not being heard because they don't know how good I am. And I can't stand and scream I'm good. I need to have a powerful signal saying I'm good. And that signal is this MBA. And that is why I want to do this. That works. So you have to find some strand of desperation, fear, a fear of not proving yourself to push you. Find that button that can work wonders. I couldn't give my best in CAT 2020. I was stuck in lockdown for 3 months, institutionally quarantined. Family suffered, death in family. Several times it just odds are stacked against you. Pick yourself up. 2020 was an anomaly. Make sure that you get the energy again to throw yourself into this. If you don't have a job, have a job. Pick up a job. Look for a job. If you already have a job, do well in that. Don't amp up the stress. Don't let a 2020 hangover be there. You're starting afresh, do it with that energy. What should I opt for? An MBA in top B school in India or MIM from abroad with average academics and as a fresher? Both options are good. Both options, you're effectively making a choice with lifestyle and where you want the job market to be. If you want to work in India, MBA in a top B school will work. If you want to work in Europe or US, MIM works. MIM is a slightly higher risk option. I would argue if all options are on the table, in the top few, then it depends on where you're doing your MBA, where you're doing your MIM. You get in the top 7, 8 in India, they can take you places. Jump in, join, and do well in them. If that is not the case, you're going to go and join college rank number 25, but you get an MIM in a top 15, top 20 college in the US, you should take that option. That's as good as what you can get from a top college rank 25 in India. Why other YouTubers say that profile matters? You ask them that. I think when they say profile matters, what they mean to say is work experience matters. Work experience matters. Again, I'm at the cost of severely repeating myself. At the first level, class 10, class 12, UG, work experience, CAT score. They're all assigned numbers, put into a box, and you get called. If you don't have a job in hand, then do something to spend your time meaningfully, add something to your profile, learn something new. You have a job, do well in your job, and have one get out clause outside your job and CAT so that you don't drive yourself crazy with intensity. But apart from this, doing certification courses, doing funny things, all of those are useful for your life. They're fun digressions, it's hobbies, passions, pastimes, all good. If you clear CFA level 1, that's meaningful. If you want a career in finance, it is meaningful standalone. You can get you a job in finance. If you clear CFA level 1 and walk into any one of several startups in the fin sector, they'll take you straight away. Do it for that. But otherwise, unless it is as clear as a CFA level 1, it doesn't matter at all. If it's a CFA level 1 and that you've done meaningfully well, then it can help you with your summer internship. It can help you in your why do you want to select finance. It can help you in your finance questions in your interview. Outside of that, it doesn't matter. I'm a CAT 21 aspirant, but my college has good placement. I'm confused. Take up a good job, prepare for CAT. CAT falls in place, go to a B school. If it doesn't fall in place, take up your job. Several colleges give you the options of doing both. If your college does not give you the option of doing both, then they're being harsh on you. In which case, take up the job, take up CAT also. The worst case scenario, you'll have to pay some money. You're going to pay 22 lakhs for an MBA anyway. So whatever job you have a bond for, pay that 1 lakh, 2 lakh. I'm not able to take the job. A college which says you have to choose one or the other is being cruel. So shake your head, take your CAT. Take your CAT, give yourself a chance. Then you can worry about the job thing. What is more preferable, job experience or directly doing an MBA? Interesting question. From your point, from a student's point of view, if you have a chance of doing an MBA from a great college, straight away start that. Generally, the pre-MBA career and post-MBA career are two different strands. Very few continue their career with an MBA in between. Maybe for an executive MBA, if you work for 12 years in the construction industry, you do a 1-year MBA, chances are you'll go back to the construction industry. You've learned too much, just leave it on the table. But otherwise, 75%, 80% of the people switch their careers, go on to dramatically different things post-MBA. And that progression is completely different. So your pre-MBA work experience, in one sense, it's experience that helps you to take value from the MBA. In another sense, it is a trajectory which is lower than what your post-MBA career progression can be. So it is definitely in your interest to do an MBA as early as possible. Get a good MBA, take it straight away. If you're a fresher, definitely take CAT. It is tougher to get it because people with work experience get those extra points. That matters. It is a visible, clear, tangible advantage that people with work experience have over freshers. So you're losing out on that advantage. That's all right. But take the CAT, compete. If you're able to get a seat, go for it. Two years of work experience and I'm writing CAT 21. If I miss this year, I'll be 24. Should go for CAT 22? For preparing for this. Already saying I'll take this. If it does not work, should I take CAT 2022? The sea of hypotheticals. Declutter. Doesn't matter. Prepare. Go for a nice ride. You're going on a journey of CAT preparation. Everything falls in place, brilliant. If it doesn't, we'll worry about it next year. Why are you adding on to the stress of how will I take this decision on Feb 28th, 2022? Not required. Is operation the shortcut to consulting? No, it is not. You can go to a consulting career after any. Scored 77 percentile. We've done this. What should I do next? Shreya Gaurav, definitely prepare for CAT 2021. If you have a job, do well in that. If you don't have a job, look for a job and prepare for CAT 2021. I'm a BSc graduate. Which kind of job? Any job that you can lay your hands on. Your job pre-CAT does not need to be managerial experience. It does not need to be a relevant experience. It does not need to be experience in the field of study. And if there's a natural progression, there are placements in your college and you get a job automatically, a good job, take that, do well in it. There is no such thing, and you have to find a job for yourself. You can't really say, in my field, I'll try to find a job. If you can and you like your field, nothing like it. But if it doesn't fall in place, go join a startup, learn several things, prepare for CAT also. Is CGPA of 8.5 good in graduation? Definitely yes. This is Akash Karlag. 6-7 years down the line, does it really matter if you're, so this is an eternal question. Studying from a good college or a better college has a certain brand impact, certain peer group impact that stays. But with every extra year after graduation, and how well you're doing in your job, in your sector, in your field, how much you have added skills to yourself after MBA, that start mattering more and more than where you graduated from. Chennai offline classes, Irka, definitely yes. Ping us, chennai.2im.com, all the details. 2im.com will automatically direct you to this. Give us a ping. What exactly is the difference between live and comprehensive? Live course have live classes every week. Learn about 1 or 2 live classes per week, ramp it up to 3. By the time we are in, run 5 live classes every week. And that is additional apart from the entire comprehensive course in the live component. Live component includes live classes. Comprehensive course is comprehensive. This is Gajendran. My first year UG student, when should I start CAT prep? Start in your pre-final year, not before that. If you're doing a 3-year course in your second year, 4-year course in your third year, not before. Make sure you focus on your UG and get a good score. I think we've overshot our time limit. I'm going to wind down now. I think we've covered most of the questions. Just seeing if I can get 1 or 2. Cannot afford to retake. Probably tier 2. Well, what advice will you give for a person? Oh my God, this is Marvel Mishra. What advice is my favorite territory? And if you have not got a college that you think you deserve and you're going to settle for a college that is 1 rung lower, get a rock star CG. Do wonderfully well academically, you'll go places. Usually the college, the median graduate in college in tier 1 and the top 10% graduate in the college in tier 2 end up having similar career progressions. So if you're 200th out of a batch of 400 in IIM Ahmedabad or 10th out of a batch of 180 in IIM Trichy, the career progressions are more or less going to be same. So you feel that you have landed in IIM Trichy, whereas you're really an IIM Ahmedabad candidate, make IIM Trichy MBA count. Do fantastically well in IIM Trichy, do well in your interviews, get a great job, you will go places. Can I take 1 year break for preparation? No. It's not going to happen. I'm never going to say, please take. You should also know my biases. Maybe you can find somebody else who will say, please take a break and listen to that. I'm never going to say, take a break. How to get good internships? If you find a good startup that you're interested in, send them an email, then do it 25 times. 3 of them will reply, 2 of them will have an interview. You'll get 1 job. Go for that. Just cast your net wide. Write a compelling cover letter. Draft a good CV. Say, I did my research. I really like working for you guys. I think I'll gel and I'll contribute. Write that. Do that research. Spend 6-7 hours and apply to 20 places. Some 6 will take it seriously. Some 3 will call you for an interview. Remember, you need to get only 1 job in the end. But cast your net wide. How do you balance learning and practice? I often find too much time on practice and my learning has gotten behind. Revisit and revise very aggressively. 2-3 topics, go back to the first one to revise. You do 7 topics, go back to 3, 4, 5. Keep revising, then it gets mixed. They're not 2 separate things. You don't learn 1 day and practice 1 day. Keep doing both. Practice helps in learning, learning helps in practice. Intertwine them and you'll get better. Wonderful, guys. So I'm going to sign off for the day. Have a great weekend. It was lovely catching up. This new format is really, I'm getting more and more comfortable with it. Standing and talking is maybe better than sitting and staring at a screen and talking. Just as a reminder, we have a fabulous offer running. It's a beautiful offer and a beautiful course. Do definitely check out the course. You spend 15-20 minutes there on the course. It's better than spending hours together on the YouTube channel. How we teach is dramatically better than how we do practically everything else. Really good at many things. How we teach is still 1 notch better. LMS is well designed. The UI is intuitive. It's a lot of fun. You won't see that you've spent an hour if you give it that time. Spend the time and say, look, I'm going to learn percentages and then go through that. go on that ride. You would have crossed 60 minutes and you won't even realize it. It is that well built. I know only I am saying it. Still, it is worth your while, definitely. And before I forget, and before guys here start saying I've forgotten it one more time, please do subscribe to the channel. Do click on the bell icon, and immediately right now, like the video, hit the bell icon, hit subscribe. I'd like to see and hear more from you guys. Thanks for participating in the chat. Please do comment and send across any other questions you might have. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll catch up with you hopefully the coming weekend. Yes, guys. Best wishes.